Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Azeroth Daily for the 4th of January 2011. My name is Totalbiscuit, bringing you your daily dose of WoW news and comments. In the headlines today, the Tolbarad honor change, whereby you could earn 1,800 honor by attacking and winning, which resulted in mass win trading across almost all realms, has now been reverted. You now earn 360 honor points for a victory, and the defending faction will earn 180 points for a victory. I'd also like to point out that the bridge exploit that's been posted in a wide variety of different places and is being abused right at this very moment is also in the process of being fixed. If you don't know what the bridge exploit is, it basically involves running back and forth over the Tolbarad Bridge at certain times in order to earn free honor and reputation from doing absolutely bloody nothing. Yeah, not great, and indeed something that Blizzard should fix. They are on it, however, so says Zahim. As with all exploits, do so at your peril. You'll probably get banned if Blizzard feels like it, so don't exploit the game, kids. Not worth it. The latest round of hotfixes has come out for you to peruse, and my pick of the litter has to be that Flame Orb no longer breaks polymorph. Oh, thank about bloody time. And also, if you're a tailor, it is time for you to rejoice, because you will now receive additional cloth drops 50% of the time from anything that drops cloth, which is up from 25%. Oh yeah. Now, this one's a little bit old, but it is still open for entry, so I think it's definitely worth having a look at. This is something called the Weaponsmithing Fan Art Contest. The contest is to actually make a replica of a weapon, full-sized, I might add, based on something within World of Warcraft. And there are various categories, including Best Dagger, Best Mace, Best Sword, Best Ranged, and Best of the Rest. This is available to the US, as far as I can tell, only, and it ends on the 21st of January 2011. I would highly recommend that you go and have a look at the rules for everything that you need to know before you start. The prize is a full-sized replica Frostmourne with an ice shard display stand at a $630 value. So get cracking, ladies and gentlemen. With that, it's time for your Daily Blues. Nessax on the US forums has a challenge for you. You have 10 seconds to be as NPC as possible. And that challenge was indeed answered by the one and only Daxari, who says, "Ha! I have crushed an apple fruit vendor. This will not be the last." Indeed. True dat, ladies and gentlemen. Sad thing is the Wrath Babies probably won't even get that. So sad. So very, very sad. Slorkers on the EU forums has a poll for you. You can take part in some democracy involving the whale shark, ladies and gentlemen, if you so desire. I don't know why you would, but you can have a look at it anyway. Because as you see, off the coast of Dunmoreau, beneath the sunlit reaches of the Great Sea, swims the Arbiter of the Deep, known by many simply as the whale shark. You have a poll here to vote on. You have 5 options. Have you been eaten by the whale shark? Nope. I dived responsibly? Yes. And it was terrifying. Almost. It was a close call. I lost most of my durability and my best friend and possibly a limb, but in the end I managed to escape. Not really sure. I went AFK in the Shimmering Expanse and came back as a corpse, and psh, I punted that prehistoric pelagic prowler and its pectoral fins right out of a shear. So yes, indeed. Go vote, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Hell if I know. Muicus Rex posts about aging and World of Warcraft, and the responses are, quite frankly, a little bit terrifying. Bashiok tells us about waking up on a cold day and going directly into a Lady Gaga dance. I don't even want to think about Bashiok on a cold day in any situation, certainly not doing a Lady Gaga dance. And Nethera makes matters worse, I might add, by asking for a video of it. You know not what you seek. Oh, somebody pass the mind bleach. And with that, it's time for your daily grind. To say that this quest is screwed up would be the understatement of the century. You get it by doing a chain of quests starting with Welcome to the Machine. It's about 5 or 6 quests in, you follow the quest line through, and you end up here. Now what you can do is you can click this shovel right here to start a quest called Do the Right Thing. It involves rescuing, quote-unquote, seedlings, human seedlings. Indeed, these crazy undead have buried these humans alive and are running around eating their faces. It's not what I would class as particularly pleasant, let me put it that way. The even more screwed up thing about this quest is that you get to make a moral choice. You can either rescue them by right-clicking, or you can put them out of their misery by hitting them with the mercy shovel. Or alternatively, if you're like me, you can rescue them, give them false hope, and then dash their brains out with the mercy shuttle. And that's actually the most efficient way to do the quest. Oh, because you get 2 credits for it. It's ridiculous, but it's awesome. Yeah, you definitely need to go check that one out. Available in Hillsbrad for the Horde only. And with that, it's time for your weekly feature. It's Raid or Die. So, celebration is in order for Paragon, who's managed to get 2 new world firsts this week, taking out Valiona and Thuralion and the Ascendant Council in Heroic Bastion of Twilight. It's very likely that we'll see several more guilds take those out in the next couple of days, since Nefarian and Alakia are proving to be massive stumbling blocks in Heroic mode. This also leaves Paragon with no choice but to take one of these end-of-dungeon bosses out if they want to continue with their lead. Since Cho'Gall just got a buff in the hotfixes in Heroic mode as well, that may influence their choice somewhat, and I would expect to see, this would be my prediction anyway, a Heroic kill of Alakia before any of the other end-of-dungeon bosses. Atramides has now been hotfixed so that his Sonic Breath will ignore line of sight, so that's probably going to slow down the progress of guilds in that particular encounter, which was already proving to be something of a challenge to say the least, with only 15 guilds in the world having killed him. That said, Magmor still remains the toughest heroic boss in Heroic Blackwing Descent thus far, with only 9 guilds having downed him. The current breakdown of the guilds in the top 20 is as follows: the 13 Horde guilds and 7 Alliance guilds. We have 8 European guilds, 2 Russian guilds, 4 Taiwanese, and 1 Korean. You might have noticed there's another Taiwanese guild in the top 20 this week. Indeed, they go by the name of Aurora. Now, the whipping boy of the raiding counters has now changed. Magmor is now a more popular kill than Harfus Wormbreaker, with 12,464 guild kills versus 11,925. Nefarian remains the most elusive normal mode boss, being defeated by 500 guilds, which is a mere 3.34% of the currently active raiding guild roster. The European realm Lightning's Blade now knocked the Russians off the top spot from last week as the leading raiding realm in the world, thanks to the efforts of Paragon, as well as impressive displays from Simulacrum and Ancient Defilers, who have both defeated every non-heroic encounter thus far. The guys from Illidan in the US, however, aren't far behind, with an extremely impressive lineup of guilds, including Blood Legion, Raiding Rainbows, Excessive Gaming, and Angry, all of whom have killed at least 1 heroic boss so far. Indeed, that realm actually has, I kid you not, 83 guilds who have killed at least 1 raid encounter, making it one of the most formidable and skilled raiding realms in the world. And with that, it's time for the mailbox. A public service announcement coming in right here from Chase, who says, "Hey, Totalbiscuit, I've been having a few problems with Wrath Syndrome pugs and wanted to put out a few pointers to spot someone with Wrath Syndrome. Number 1, if someone has Wrath Syndrome, they will stand in the fire. Number 2, people with Wrath Syndrome will run straight into a fight, not waiting for healers, DPS, or even in severe cases, the tank. Number 3, people with Wrath Syndrome will not crowd control. Number 4, people with Wrath Syndrome will not ask or tell anybody about a boss fight, they will simply run into the fight and hope they don't die. Number 5, people with Wrath Syndrome will pull aggro on random mobs. Number 6, people with Wrath Syndrome will blame everyone but themselves. They will not acknowledge what they did wrong and rage at everybody else in the group. And finally, number 7, some people with Wrath Syndrome will not acknowledge when someone is Those are a few tips, he says, on how to spot someone with Wrath Syndrome. If someone in your group has Wrath Syndrome, either confront him or her and tell him they're doing it wrong, or kick them from the group. Remember, waiting a few minutes for a new person is much better than spending money on repair bills and going through wipes. Indeed, that could not be any more true if it tried." This one comes in from Anton, who says, "Greetings, Totalbiscuit. Before I get to the point, I wanted to say that I'm not a WoW player myself, but a RuneScape player since 6 or 7 years back. I've always liked WoW and watching the WoW esport, and I also tried playing it about half a year ago, but apparently you have to be all WoW or all RuneScape, because ever since WoW was launched, there's been this constant battle between the two games, which I believe is very unnecessary, but at the same time very appropriate, since we're talking about 2 of the world's largest MMOs. In the last episode, you talked about how you like different parts of the game. Some parts of the game may be even better than WoW, so I don't want to hear your voice on RuneScape, but I'd love to hear your opinion on why you have to be all in for one game." Well, the simple answer is you don't. And prime example being that RuneScape is a free-to-play game with a optional subscription element, as far as I recall. Same as DDO, same as Lotro. Traditionally, it was entirely reasonable and indeed very usual to play just one MMO, because they were all charging subscription fees, so there was a financial element there, but lately there's been a rise in free-to-play games, so yeah, you can play more than one MMO without spending any more money than you have to. I don't believe you have to be a one-gamer anything, honestly. It doesn't even matter what it is. If it's an MMO, if it's an FPS, if it's a strategy game, it doesn't really matter. I'm the kind of person that plays loads of games. I say jack of all trades, master of none. That would be extremely accurate, because I'm not amazingly good at any game I play, because I don't have the time to dedicate to it. A dedicated Black Ops player that plays 5-6 hours a day is obviously going to be better than me, who plays like 20 minutes a day. That's simply the way of it. Same with World of Warcraft, the same with StarCraft 2, the same with anything else. But there are some people that believe that you have to be so dedicated to this one particular title at the expense of everything else. I don't believe that. That, to me, is not being a gamer. To me, being a gamer is experiencing everything that gaming has to offer. Sure, you might have preferences for different genres. For instance, I don't play a lot of sports games. I play mostly FPS, turn-based strategy, RTS, bit of racing every now and again. But I don't think that I should restrict myself to one title. Hell, I don't bother completing games most of the time, with the exception of maybe BioWare RPGs, simply because I don't need to in order to get my money's worth and my enjoyment out of the game. Most of the time, anyway. But it mostly comes down to the fact that people will dedicate a lot of time to something and they become blinkered, yep. It's the same as the console wars, quote-unquote. Not that there is no console war. It's a battle between fanboys. And it comes down to the fact that a fanboy buys one system and then believes his system was the correct choice and everyone else chose incorrectly if they also don't own that system. And actually, it's a way of coping with the fact that they can't afford all three of them. And it's a way of making themselves feel justified. And really, it is incredibly childish and doesn't need to happen. It applies to video games as well. Like, nobody cares about the video games that you choose to play. I'm sorry, they don't. You have to accept this. Your choice is entirely your choice, and you should take great joy in that you don't have to justify your choice of video game to other people, and yet people don't. They constantly feel the need to justify their choice of video game, and it's so silly. Really, it doesn't matter. Who are these people on the internet? What are they going to do to you? Absolutely nothing. Just play what you enjoy, and don't feel the need to justify it. At the end of the day, you're wasting valuable time that could be spent playing video games. Okay, folks, that's me done for Azeroth Daily for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. As always, if you do enjoy it, please like it. And if you don't enjoy it, yeah, feel free to use the thumbs down button. At the end of the day, that's what it's for. I'm not going to whine and complain if somebody thumbs my videos down. It's their right as much as it is to vote it up. But I would appreciate constructive criticism. If you do vote it down, please leave a comment in the comment section below telling me why. Is there anything I can fix? Can I make my show better for you guys? Let me know in the comment section below. Tell me how, tell me what the problem is and why it's an issue and how to fix it, and I will try and deal with it as best I can. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you next time.